show. Undeniable, unstoppable, straight up on the move. Can't slow down, got too much to prove. Fast lane living, every second counts. Chasing dreams ain't enough, gotta stack large amounts.
Rich Stevens, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
We've just had a really good conversation off camera, but hey, we're going to sit here and talk about content and figure out exactly what people do and how they do it in the media game. But before we dive in, can you give everyone a bit of an introduction to who you are, what you do, and what your business is?
My name's Rhys Stevens. I am the founder of Run It Up Media. We're a creative branding agency that specializes in like video content. We're coming on 2 years now since we started the company. I've got a business partner called Mel Yu. She's an absolute gun. And we've just signed a lease on a pretty fancy office in South Melbourne. We've got 6 full-time staff and probably running about, like we actually keep it quite lean, but we've got about 20 or so clients that we run on retainer models and yeah.
How much content do you produce, let's go a week, across all of the businesses?
We probably sit somewhere between like the 300 to 400 videos a week. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So very qualified to talk about media and how it works in the social media game. I think probably just to give everyone a bit of a background on like what I'd like to talk about, and kind of we just kind of riff from there, is I speak to clients a lot when it comes to creating their own media, and like you have to get yourself seen. You have to get out there, and you can't sell anything unless people start to know who the fuck you are. And I think that comes in phases where like people start to become aware of you, people want to start to trust you, and then they buy from you. Let's start with go for the service-based businesses. How important is content in that game?
I think content's extremely important just because everything's so quick nowadays. Like you can create a website with AI in 2 seconds. Like you can make anything in like split seconds now. And that like it makes businesses untrustworthy because you don't know if it's real or not. Like 10, 15 years ago, 5 years ago, you would see a full website and all that type of stuff. It took skill to be able to build all that, so it was more trustworthy. But now it's like you don't know. But what you can't fake is video after video of the founder or the employees or just what's going on behind the scenes. So it makes it more trustworthy. So it doesn't matter if you're a freaking asphalt company or a coach online. I think content is key to anything now.
Do you think there's a threshold of how much content is like a starting point? Because I feel like gone are the days, or at least in my world, where I still speak to people who are like, oh, cool, like, do you post? Like, yeah, I post 3 times a week. It's like, that's, in my world, that's not enough. Do you think there is a threshold where people need to go, okay, if you're going to go take content seriously, what do you qualify as seriously taking content?
The bare minimum is once a day.
Okay.
That's what I would think is the bare minimum, but it also just comes down to the person. So the person, if you're not posting it at all, then 1 post a week is better than nothing. If you post them once and twice and 3 and whatever, so anything is better than nothing. Yep. But bare minimum, just because of how much is out there though, you can, and it's over in 12 hours. You post a video, spend 8 hours freaking filming and editing this one video, and then you post it, you get 30 likes and it's gone.
Yeah.
So it's like you need to stay consistent. So that's where it's like you need to show up every single day. I think at a bare minimum. Do
you think there is a return on investment to going down the road of high production? If like, let's say we've got someone bare bones budget, and they're trying to dive into that content world, do they go invest their cold earned cash into high video production, or do they just go down the road of just trying to get more volume out there?
It's a hard one. It's because if you mean by like high production, like fancy camera and fancy lighting and all of that type of stuff, nah, not really. I would just pick up your phone and film. But there is definitely, if you could film 30 videos a week of you just yapping at the camera, or you filmed 3 videos a week that were like jam-packed with banger value, and it was like, it was a great form of content, that's better than 30 pieces of crap.
What do you define as great?
It's got to hit all the key points. It's got to identify a problem. You've got to solve that problem, and you've also got to show that you have the authority to even know what you're talking about.
Okay, so layering, like you have to layer in social proof on the topic.
100%. Like because it's so quick. Like nobody can remember the last video that they watched. So in that first couple of seconds, you've got to tell me what the video is about, first of all. Like, why should I give you this 13 seconds of my life? And two, why should I listen to you? So it's like you've got to showcase that you, one, know what you're talking about, and two, you have, the skill and, the authority to be like, listen to me. I know what I'm talking about.
Okay. How do you think people build into that position of like, because I can already hear the alarm bells going off for people at home. Let's say they're diving into that content world. They don't have any social proof yet because they're just starting their business. How do they actually start to get proof of concept without proof of concept?
Do cool shit.
Yeah.
Do cool shit and talk about it. It's the only reason I can talk about sobriety and discipline and, all that type of stuff, because I've been sober for 8 years. But I couldn't talk about that if I was drunk last night.
Yep.
Like you have to do shit, do cool shit, or do hard things and then talk about it. It's, again, and you'll get called out on it too. If you start being like, this is how you build a SMMA to $100,000 a month, buy my course. And then people will look into you and go, you never built an SMMA. And then you get flagged and everyone's like, nah, he's a scammer, he's a liar.
It's very hard to come back from that too.
100%.
Yeah.
So it's, you need to do the things beforehand and then just talk about them.
You mind if we take a step back and go through your sobriety journey a little bit?
Yeah, of course.
I want to ask probably a strange question. How do you think you'd function in running a business with your old habits?
I wouldn't be.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't have any money to even start.
Yeah.
I would have given it all to the bottle shop guy.
What was the kicker for you to go, fuck, I need to change my life?
I actually went sober on my 25th birthday. So this is going to be a long story short, but essentially I played in a band for years, was punk rock, loved it, every one of us were just loose cannons. Sex, drugs and rock and roll is what it was about.
Yep.
And I remember it was my 24th birthday and I had this fucking killer party. Hundreds of people came and I felt like a king. It was so good. And then so it rolls around to my 25th birthday. I'm like, we're doing it again. And nobody came. And it was that awkward moment when, like, you've ever been to a party and you know that someone, like the house, they have good parties, but you rock up and there's no one there, and then you just awkwardly standing around because you're
waiting
like,
for it to kick off.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, this fucking party sucks, and then you bounce.
Yep.
That was happening to me, and so like the night was shit anyway, and I was like, fucking, I'd done every drug under the sun on the day, and it was about 3 o'clock in the morning and I was just standing around, just looking at like my life, and I could look through the window into my bedroom, and I don't know if I can say this online, but there was a bunch of people just smoking pipes in there. And I was just looking around just going, my life fucking sucks. Like, I'm a loser. And on that moment, I was like, you know what? I'm done. Like, I'm legitimately done. I'm going sober. I'm going to stop drinking, smoking, doing drugs, absolutely everything when I wake up. And I woke up the next day, completely forgot that I decided to do that. And I was like, it's my birthday. Walked straight into the kitchen. There was a bottle of orange juice and a bottle of vodka, and I just poured them in there. And I went to scull it. And as I bring it to my face, I smelt the vodka, and the vodka actually went, and I went back to that memory, and I was like, holy shit. I went, nah, I put it down. That was it.
That's meant to have that level of, I guess, self-awareness, one, in that kind of state, but two, like, to go, well, fuck, maybe I'm not too happy with my life. I'm not the most, spiritual dude, not the most, out there guy, but I think there is a level of awareness there that you probably can't be explained, that you go, most people don't in that state go, fuck, I'm going to be something better. Which in my world, I just sit there and go, well, you're destined to do business.
Yeah. But it was also just a compounding effect after it. Like, I never had money. Like, I was born in Melton Trailer Park. That's where I was legitimately born. And then, like, my dad's a garbage truck driver. So I never like had anything growing up, and I always wanted shit, man.
Yeah, everyone does.
We
all want
always
more.
wanted cool things.
Yeah.
And a cool life. And it was just a compounding effect. I mean, like 2 weeks of like being a loose cannon, and then you go to not. And I had a job. I worked at St. Vincent's Hospital at the time. And I was like, holy shit, I got like $250 in the bank. Like, that would be gone on booze or drugs or whatever. But I was like, I went and bought a fresh pair of Vans.
Yeah.
I was like, it was like $70.
Yeah, especially back then.
I felt so good. And
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit. And I was like, if I just do this for another 2 weeks, then I can get this. If I do it for a month, I can do this. And it just started compounding. And I was like, fuck, life is just getting way better. And I just couldn't stop. Now I'm addicted to it.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Real fun. Even just seeing like just milestones, even just buying back time, doing cool shit.
Yeah.
I love that saying, do cool shit.
Yeah.
And just document it. That's
Yeah.
fucking cool. I would bring this full circle, man. Like if now you're in this place where like, all right, well, I want to do cool shit. I've got this addiction to doing cool shit and buying cool shit, hitting these milestones. Like why did you choose content to be the vehicle of leverage?
Well, see, you just got to place yourself where the attention is. Everybody's screen time's like 12 hours a day now. So if you want to make something of yourself, marketing 101, it's like, it's not a billboard anymore. It's not in the newspaper. It's not in the yellow pages. It's on your phone.
Yeah.
So it's place yourself in front of people's eyes. And that happens to be on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat, whatever. Yeah.
What do you say to the people that say, I hate social media. I don't want to make content.
Depends on what you want with your life. If you don't,
If you're a business owner, we'd assume you're trying to grow your business.
like we have this conversation in our business all the time. Like we signed a TRT company, and they were like all pumped on it and everything. And they're like, cool, we're going to have a filming day. And they all went, oh wait, no, we can't be in this. I'm like, what do you mean? Like it's your business. So we had to actually find someone to be the face of their business, because none of them wanted to be in it.
Yeah, I guess with an industry like that, they didn't want to put the face to the name.
But it's actually a lot more common than you think. There's so many founders who are like, no. Like they obviously understand the need for content and like it has to be done, but nobody wants to be in front of the camera. So we have to like essentially hire someone to be the face of these companies.
Yeah. I make that a part of my hiring process. Whenever I bring on new staff, is like one of their interviewing processes is we're going to pull out a camera, we're going to film for half an hour.
Yeah, 100%. Like I got 6 full-time staff, and those girls, you'll see them across phone stores, across coconut water companies, across like food companies. They're just, we use them
Because you got to have well, it makes it easier for you to have them in house.
Yeah.
Rather than go find someone and have to go like create UGC.
Yeah.
You just be the user.
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of funny because like people will be like, oh, I didn't know this girl. I thought she worked for Running Up Media. I didn't know they work for this lasagna shop.
Yeah. Well, that's the game though.
Yeah.
And it's just like, got to use what you have.
Yeah.
How do you map out, like, let's kind of run through like a client process for you. Obviously every business is different and all their media needs are very different as well. But what's the map out process of if you were to take a new client on, how do you quantify what they need to do, what the process of their media needs to be, and like, I guess what's the outcome you're trying to get with people? How do you predict that?
Well, the outcome, you have to give back because we're making content. There's no monetary return on that. So we have to craft the content around how do you make money. So one of our clients, his name's Dion. He was Australian of the Year, and he's this Indigenous bloke. He's fucking amazing. But he's a keynote speaker. So we craft his content around keynotes and how he can do like welcome ceremonies and stuff like that. So it's finding out like where does your money come in and how do we make content around that.
Yep.
And then so once we've understood that, then it's like, okay, cool. The internet already has proven your idea. And so we test a lot of content. We test heaps of content, but the internet's already tested all your content for you. You can use, there's a Chrome extension called TalkSort.
Okay.
And you can type in anyone like the highest, whoever it is, the industry leader, and it'll filter all their videos by most liked, most viewed, whatever you want to choose.
What was that app? What was the app called?
TalkSort.
Cool.
It's a Chrome extension. And you just go onto it and find the industry leader because those video ideas are already proven to go viral. So it's like, how can we just take that idea and apply it to you? Because the idea, the actual structure of the idea works. We're not going to steal the script, but we're going to take the idea because it's proven people are interested in it.
Yeah, you reskin it to your brand and to your personality, and off you go.
Yeah, so it's essentially just like crafting these videos, but we do more than videos. We do graphic design. We do like, all of that type of stuff. We make grids look nice and all of that, but it's always video based. That's the main vehicle because that's what gets engagement, that's what gets growth, and that's what people want to see. So yeah, it's finding out what makes you money first of all, and then crafting videos around that, but then also just looking into the industry of what other people are doing that works.
Mm-hmm.
And then, just put it together in a plan.
With if you're planning that out, when you say crafting videos, like, are you doing this as an information heavy, or are you doing this as like attention to create awareness, or is it to give value? Like, what's the framework, or is there a percentage of which you split this?
So it depends on what you're after.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want people to buy from you, you need to give value, you need to show expertise. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to grow. So if you want to grow your account, you need to do top of funnel content, which is, it's engaging to more people that more like they're probably not going to buy from you, but they want to follow you now. But that's how you get that bigger reach. So it needs to be a fine line between these videos are going to perform way better and go more viral, but they're not necessarily going to turn into money. But once we get them in and then they start watching your content, then they find these more niche videos that solve your problem. That's kind of what you do. So it needs to be a nice range of like expertise and broad.
Yeah, I guess as well, even if we look at, like, I'm not one to really measure success in vanity metrics. I like generally going to measure success in, dollars and cents in the account.
Yeah.
But that vanity metric of just that reach or just getting a high following total, it creates a confirmation bias that when you're giving this expertise and there's, let's say, 100,000 people that follow you, of which maybe 80% are never going to buy, just that number gives that bias of like, okay, maybe they know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly right.
And that stuff comes from the top of funnel, broad stuff.
Yeah, it needs to be like widely interesting topics is what I call it. Like what is something that applies to all of us? So I use fashion as my top of funnel content. And this is where I get called soy boy and shit all the time. But the reason I use fashion, like I had a video that I posted maybe last month or the month before. It's got 1.4 million views, and it's just what I wore as the owner of a media agency. So it still directly links to my business.
Getcha.
But the reason I use fashion is because every single person on this planet wears clothes and has an opinion on clothes, so therefore can critique me on what I'm wearing. Whether it's good or bad, it's everybody has an opinion on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, how do you take that to your business? Like if I had, here's my top 10 favorite death metal bands, only people who like death metal care.
Yeah.
But then if I go, here's my top 10 favorite death metal bands and what they have in common with Taylor Swift, we've now broadened that gap to a hell of a lot more people. So that's what like the top of funnel is. Like, how do you get everybody to have an opinion on what you're talking about and then get them in and then start nurturing them?
Interesting. Like, what you've said makes complete sense. And then I go, in my head, I've got ridiculously photographic memory. I go, cool, that was, for me at least, right? My original plans, cool, start top of funnel, nurture down. And then I realized, okay, well, if I look at industry leaders in the business space specifically, like, all right, cool, Hormozy, 6 months ago, he was doing a bunch of top of funnel. He was talking about the protein he ate, how he got his calories in, and him and Layla's like relationship. Probably 3 months ago, he's like, we're not doing any of that anymore. We're only going hyper-specific business because that's what makes us money. That's what gets us acquisition into acquisition.com. I was like, all right, cool, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And, hearing you verbalize it, it's like, of course it makes sense for him because he's already got the fucking audience.
100%.
Yeah.
And he had a whole bunch of cool shit to talk about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if I could sit here and it's like, I made $100 million off a business, and then people looked into me and like, oh shit, he did make $100 million off a business.
Yep.
All of a sudden people are going to listen to you a lot more.
Yeah, and you've got more, I guess, experiential knowledge to speak about throughout that process.
Yeah, 100%. But if you're freaking, Joe Blow over there who's done jack shit,
Yeah.
you need to kind of go a little bit more broader to get people in, then nurture them.
Mm-hmm. Do you think like every business can benefit from video content?
Look, probably, yeah. Like, I would say so. Do some businesses need it? Probably not. Like, it really depends. Like, there's probably some freaking steel manufacturing company out there that doesn't need to be posting TikTok trends, but they're making billions of dollars a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I was speaking to a friend about this the other day. He works as a marketing director in a company that does like packaging of foods, right? So all they do is sell the machines that do the machine packing.
Yeah.
Right. And their sales cycle is a 9-month cycle. So because they have to email, they have to talk, they do this outbound, they go through, have meetings, conversations, and get paid for none of that, obviously.
Yeah.
But when they finally sell one machine, it's like a $400,000 machine.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, their sales cycle's fuck off long. I was like, do you guys do any like marketing at all, like paid advertising? Do you do any like media on anything? He's like, no, well, all of our clients that buy these things are people that are like in their 70s that own these companies that package food. None of them know what the fuck TikTok is. Like, makes sense.
Yeah.
And we sat there and had this big long conversation of like, where could they do media that it would benefit? He's like, well, they're all old fucks, so we'd probably have to go to newspapers or like catalogs. I was like, but none of them, like they have been saturated in this kind of weird concept. The catalog industry of marketing and like newspaper been around a long fucking time, way longer than social media. And anyone that's still engaging in that media is so immune to it. Like you think we're immune to like marketing on socials? Marketing in a newspaper to an 80-year-old? See ya. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's like we can't really market, so it's just got to be like connections off like word of mouth, go from one factory to the next.
Yeah.
And I sat there, it blew my mind to find a model that's like maybe you don't need media, but I think in modern business, I think it's necessary.
That's the thing. It depends on how long your business has been around. If you're a package company that's been around for 30 years, you probably don't need it because you've built, you've stood the test of time.
You got brand equity. You're
but
sweet.
it's all content does is just fast tracks your success.
Yeah.
It can take it from, you can be a clothing label that hasn't even got their first order of jumpers yet and blow up on TikTok and then sell 1,000 units. That's all it does. It's a quicker, it just shortens the distance to success.
Do you have any like frameworks that you work into clients? We'll stick with the service-based industries, that frameworks of how they film, of like what they need to say. Is there a cadence? Is there a structure to the way you put things out?
Yeah, so we do everything for our client. Our client, so we come up with all their ideas, we script all their videos, we come to them and film them all, and it's all like shot lists, and we do everything, and then we edit it all, and then all they do is sign off on it. And there's like, again, it's just all the research beforehand, because it's easy. Anyone can pick up a camera now and be like, yeah, I'll make you a video, but it's like, can you actually make a good video? And not even like a good edited video. It's a video that's going to perform well. Yeah. So yeah, it's just research essentially.
Do you have any frameworks that are like not so much copy paste, but like somewhat predictable for most businesses as a place to start? If they were going to film their own content, like what do they do? Do you go like problem first and hit them with a pitch, or do you hit them with a hook first? Like what is your predictable model?
Well, it depends on the business. One, it has to have someone in it.
Yeah.
Because
what do you mean?
Like a person. Because like you think of a coffee shop, because I used to own a coffee shop, and I marketed it through my own personal brand, and I fucking gained thousands and thousands of followers because I did it all through myself. Where if you go to any coffee shop, most likely it's a picture of a ham and cheese tomato sandwich and a really nice barista made thing. It's the exact same stuff over and over and over and over again.
I agree.
But as soon as you put a face to it, all of a sudden it changes the game. So it's like whether hooks and value and call to actions and all that type of stuff, that's just, you need that in every single video, but just the main thing would be you need to have a face to your content. 100%. Doesn't matter what business you're in, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think like looking around the industry of like go generalized service-based businesses where I kind of operate in, I can look around the landscape and go, you're going to have a client problem in 6 months because you never put your face to the business and you never speak about what you know, and you're just putting out carousels and you're putting out still images. Like at some point, people are going to know who the fuck are you, and do you have anything good to say? Yeah. And if you don't put your face to it, it's very hard. Yeah, 100%. What's some of the things that you've seen? Like, what are some of the biggest challenges you've seen over the last, like, let's say 2 years since COVID, when people become more, I guess, immune to content and they're so heavily like plastered everywhere? What's some of the challenges that have come with that, with everyone spending so much time on their phone?
Some of the biggest challenges, just like retention rates. I think I saw this thing the other day, and it was that dude who had that, whatever his name's, Tommy something, and he had that $1 Million Baby song. Yeah, right. Yeah. And he was promoting his new song, and he promoted it for 2 weeks before it came out, and it hadn't even dropped yet. And people were like commenting on his videos, being like, "Man, this is getting old," and it's like, the song's not even out yet.
Yeah.
It's been like, I'm still bopping 50 Cent from like the fucking 2000s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like how long and how quickly we get over shit now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is old news, man. Like, and you're like, fuck, I only created this a week ago, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. It's what's not even fucking out.
Yeah. So it's like, I think the constant innovation of content is crazy, because you think that you get your head around it and you're like, oh, cool, I've got it. And then the whole game changes.
How do you stay ahead?
Like, there's obviously always people who are industry leaders. Like, you know, like the Talking Head video was pretty much coined by Alex Hormozi and his captions, and he changed the whole game. But then, you know, there's industry leaders who are constantly changing the game. Like Sam Sulek, he changed the game for like no more. Like his videos don't have any
production
editing,
value, just
nothing. And you know, but like, so there are people who change the game, and then people follow through and follow what they're doing. But I don't know if they're like, unless you're like super experimental, I don't even know if there is a way to change the game, because it just recycles. Because all that you know, Sam Sulek videos, that's just YouTube in 2010.
Yeah.
What I mean?
Yeah. It's OG YouTube days.
Yeah. So it's like, it's just coming back. So it's, I don't know, maybe the stay ahead is to look what happened 5 years ago and start doing it now.
Yeah. What's like, if you were to try and give businesses advice, like whether it be in content or just in general, like where do you start building out a pillar of a business? What makes a good business?
Money in.
Fucking oath. Yeah.
Yeah.
Win for the good guys. Yeah.
Yeah, straight up. Like, get money in. Use other people's money to do things. You know what I mean? It's like Run It Up Media is $1 million plus business, and it was built on the back of other people's money. I never invested a single cent into this business.
Run me through that. Tell me, like, let's roll back to the startup of Run It Up. Sorry. Obviously, you were a cafe owner.
Yeah.
Didn't invest any of your own money. So how'd you start?
Well, I didn't have any money. I spent all my money on my cafe.
And that didn't go to plan?
I left that cafe $120,000 in debt.
Fun. Very good.
Yeah, I know. It never made money. Not once. I worked in there for 4 years, 7 days a week, never took home a pay.
Yeah. Margins on cafes suck.
Yeah. I was just borrowing money from Combank.
Yeah.
Till they were like, no.
Yeah.
I was
Sorry.
like, okay, cool.
Yeah. What now?
I'll close it down.
Yeah.
But like even my very first client for Run It Up Media, they came to me and they're like, oh, I really want you to film some client for me. And they were actually a gym person. I'll tell you after this who it was. But I ended up saying to them, I was like, yeah, cool. I can make you some content. That's all cool. It's going to be $1,000 for whatever amount of videos. And she was like, yeah, that's cool. I was like, cool. I was like, I need you to pay me up front. And she was like, why? I was like, oh, you know, like gyms, you got to like book them out and you have to pay for all this type of stuff. I didn't own a camera. I was like,
fuck, bro, that's it, man. Sell the product before you have the product. That's mad.
She transferred me $1,000. I went and bought a Canon M50 Mark II for $800.
Yeah.
And then I rocked up. I was like, hey, what's going on?
That's mad.
Like night before, learning how to use his camera and shit like that.
That's mad. Why did you choose content in that case? If you didn't already have the camera, why was it that like, did she just come to you, or were you just like?
Because I was making videos for myself.
Right.
And they were getting millions of views. And I was like gaining like thousands of followers a week.
Yep.
And she was like, holy shit, how do you do that? And I was like, oh, I can do it for you. It's, you know, it's
probably.
take this and this and this. Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
We'll see. And and so she asked me to do it. And that's actually what birthed Run It Up Media.
That's
because
mad.
I was like, holy shit. I made some money, and then, you know, someone else hit me up, and then someone else hit me up, and someone else hit me up. And this was the actual reason why, like, Skull Trash, the cafe, was losing money anyway, so I should have closed it down way earlier. But I was making more money. I was actually making money from Run It Up Media. Then I was like, you know, what am I doing? I'm shutting the doors on this cafe.
Yep.
And I'm going all in on this business because it actually produced income.
At what point did you realize that it could not just be a business to service your lifestyle, but you'd have to actually start outsourcing and paying other people too?
Oh, pretty quickly, man.
Yeah.
So when I first started, I trained at Doherty's gym and in Brunswick. And if you've ever gone there, man, you go there at like 8 o'clock in the morning, there are some nice cars out the front. There's Lambos, there's Rolls Royces and shit like that. And I ended up finding this one dude. he drives this Lamborghini Aventador. And I ended up tracking him down in the gym. I was like, hey, bro, like, can I buy your coffee at the thing? And you just give me some business advice. And I kind of sat down with him. And I was like, look, I'm doing this videography stuff. I'm like getting clients, but, you know, I don't know how to service it all. And he's like, well, what are you doing tomorrow? And I was like, oh, nothing. And he goes, then fucking do the work. And I was like, okay. Like, yeah, right. No worries. Like, then I just stopped sleeping, really. I just started like editing shit tons of videos, and then it just got to a point where I had too many clients, and then that's when you had to start outsourcing. And
or you fuck it up or you lose the opportunity.
Yeah, exactly right. And I did. I lost a lot of opportunities at the start.
You burn bridges because you just can't keep up the workflow.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I
think that's a standard. That's the superhero story, man. Like, just got to figure out how to put the cape on.
Yeah, well, like even with Run It Up Media now, we we don't take on any more than 5 clients a month, purely because we're trying to get our business to like A grade golden level, because like, you know, we're 2 years into it, but there are still things that we're learning that clients are teaching us when they give us feedback. Like, who would have thought that we needed a policy and procedure on how much you can talk to your client? You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like,
communication standards.
Yeah, like there's so many things that we're building. So we're like, we've kind of capped it at like, we're not growing, like we don't have a sales problem at all. Like, I can get work through the door, no problem.
Yeah.
But it's, what's the point of getting that work through the door if they leave? Because
especially when it's your reputation on the line
100%. So yeah, that's something that I really, really, really believe in now, is like, nah, we gotta have the best product. They don't want to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
And because it's content, it's public. It's like, you know, if you're paying me $3,500 to run your social media and you're getting 100 views, someone's going to turn and be like, didn't you pay an agency to do that? Like,
that sucks. Yeah.
That sucks. Like, everybody sees it. It's not like I fixed your car.
Yeah.
And you just pissed off because you still got an oil leak.
Yeah. You can't hide from it.
Nah.
Yeah.
So it's like, it has to be on point.
I think a lot of people forget that you can definitely grow yourself into a constraint. Like you just said, you don't have a sales problem, but if you were to just continuously sign more people, at some point your churn rate escalates, which becomes so hard to fix because you're chasing your own tail.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, how do you start to get goodwill with a market that hates you?
Yeah.
Fucking really, really fucking hard.
Yeah.
And it's like, especially when you go on B2B, like working with business to business, their money, whether it be $4,000 a month, $10,000 a month, or whatever it might be, they're not necessarily looking for an immediate return because businesses don't work that way. Most business owners understand that too.
Yeah.
What they do want is reputation management though. So if you put out videos that don't represent their brand well, even if it only got 100 views, if it just had shit branding, and they said that doesn't align with what we've built over the last 15 years, it's your ass.
Yeah. And it happens, man. It's still like, that's why we have, so with our clients, we have our idea generation period, which is where we come up with all the ideas, then we film all the content ideas, and then a week before it goes live, we try to hit for 2 weeks, but it always ends up being 1 week. A week before it goes live, the client has to sign off on absolutely everything. And it has to be, this is your photo, this is your caption, this is your reel, this is your caption. You get to watch the reel and make sure everything is signed off. Because as soon as we publish something that doesn't align with you, you're on the other end being like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. I think like I can speak to that as well. Like I don't have a sales problem with mentoring us. The exact same thing. We had someone message through yesterday to one of my setters and be like, hey, the next availability is not until like mid-August. I was like, yeah, because we turned it off. Yeah. Like I had too much inbound acquisition in the space of a 7-day. I have like a gatekeeping process. They have to speak to one of the boys first. It's like a triage process. Speak to them, 10-minute conversation, qualify them whether they're worth my time and I can help them. If so, they graduate, go to me, they can have a conversation, I can sell them. And the triage calls, I think we had like 40 bookings in a week. And we were just like, we need to turn these off. Yeah. And so Pat was just like, I think until mid-August, just leave it, run through these, have your conversations and figure out how much, because off those 40, I could take 2, I could take 15, right? It depends on what their position in business is. Yeah. And if I take 15 on in a 7-day period, like I'm going to be pretty fucked. Yeah, 100%. Like even just because my service isn't really tied as it's not a value metric as far as like time for money. There is like the consultation process, but even just learning and managing 15 businesses problems, my brain's good, not that good. And if I do that in a 2-week period, I'll bite off way more than I can chew. And then it comes to a brand recognition thing. And a reputation management. If it's shit, same go.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you have to slow down to go far.
Yeah, 100%. They're like, back in the day, I never would have thought that there's a problem with growing too quick. But there definitely
I've experienced it. It sucks sometimes.
Yeah. And like, but it's a good problem to have because you can control the rate that you're growing at then.
I think it's a good problem to have, but it's a really fucking confronting one.
Yeah.
Because like for me, at least in the early days, if we were growing real fast, I'd be pissed off because I'd be like, okay, well, I can take more people on, we can make more money. Yay, cool, bigger business. But I'd have that enough skill set or enough, I guess, forward projection awareness to go, if I take more people here, I'm going to be fucked in 3 months.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to hate me and I'm not going to do a good job. So slow down. There was always that little bit of like, hustler, that like, oh fuck it, let's just go. Let's run it. Let's just go. Yeah. Like it's just fun. Like like that guy just said to you, just go do more work. Yeah. Like there was always that little bit of me of like, oh fuck it, run through walls, kick down doors, let's go. Yeah. And so you just learn like it's a time thing, experience thing.
And as the more work you take on, the more, like, at least for me at least, like if we take on more work, then I have to hire employees because like I can't fulfill all that, and I'm not even the best at fulfilling it now. We hire A-grade people because they're better at doing the job than I am. Yeah. Like I like to be more visionary leader as such. And we have to now hire employees, and then once we hire more employees, we're like, fuck, now I need a bigger office. And now it's like, holy shit, now our expenses are way higher. And it's well, that's the thing, man. Like if you multi 7-figure business generally will have a 7-figure outgoings. Yeah. Like there's going to be, if you're pulling in 5 mil, you're going to be having probably $1 million of outgoings a year. Yeah, for sure. Like bigger bills, bigger problems most of the time. Like you've probably experienced it as well. Like more people, more problems, more personalities in the office. Like, oh fuck, more to manage. Yeah. And it all comes with issues. Like every point of scale, like I'm not saying scaling is great. Scaling is fun, but sometimes also like to scale long term, you have to slow it. Yeah, well, I saw Bedros Keuilian yesterday. How was that? It was really good. It was really good. We got to have like a one-on chat with him, but he said something like really, like fascinating that I never really thought about. But because he started like with his gyms, and he grew to 500 locations, and he was telling the story. He was talking to his CEO, and he's like, man, this freaking gym business is hard. I got to deal with all of these people and these people, and the dude turned around. He's like, you're not in the gym business, bro. You're in the franchise business. Yep. It was at that moment he was like, holy shit, I've grown into a business that I didn't even start. Yeah. Yeah. And but that's eventually what happens is you grow so big that you get to a point, and like, I'm not even there yet at all. I can't wait for the day that I am. But you eventually, it gets to a point where, your business has evolved into something that you didn't even start. Yeah. Well, you look at McDonald's. McDonald's is realistically a real estate company. Yeah. Like not a food company. They didn't expect that. Yeah. Like it's fucking wild how they run their business. Great. If you haven't watched it, have you watched the movie Founder? No, I haven't. Dude, but watch it. I've spoken about it quite a lot because it's, if you actually look at 7-Eleven, Subway, and McDonald's, they're always on a corner. Yeah. They have the real estate. Yeah. They own the land. Yeah. And lease it to the franchisee. Yeah. Wild. Their model as well of actually just even like talking about product development probably comes back to media pretty well. Their original menu was three menu items: cheeseburger, Coke, and fries. They removed, in a world where fast food was starting to come up, they removed everything off their menu item because 80% of the revenue came from those 3 items. Yeah. And all the rest was just noise. There's power to one. So my first original mentor, his name is Cam Reed. He owns Loon, the croissant place. Yeah, cool. It's a great friend of mine now. Dude, they do $20 million a year in croissants. It's one product. One product, one probably, I'd assume as well, off one platform. They're doing most of their sales off one platform. Yeah, so it's but that's what he always says. He's like, there's a power to one. Like when I had my cafe, man, I was like, fuck, we need a smoothie menu, we need a burger menu, we need this menu, we need this menu. He's like, all I sell is croissants, and like we got a line all day. And I was like, I don't even have a line. He's like, I don't know, it's like decision fatigue. Yeah, it's huge. Like, shit, what do I want? Not just decision fatigue, but like if you look at like that's on the customer perspective, you look at management as well. Yeah. Well, fuck, I've got to figure out the outgoings for a coffee. I've got to figure out the cost for my burgers. Like, if you just sold coffees, life would be a bit easier. To order tomatoes and now like half your menu's gone. Yeah. Yeah. Like if you just simplify your process, like I think streamlining, coming even back to content, like streamlining your content production. Like I when we film,
the amount of time we spend just cutting out fluff
Yeah.
is absurd.
Yeah.
It's like streamlining, like, okay, cool, we'll bring the script. Okay, this word doesn't need to be there, or remove, and we just sit there and it just becomes a Frankenstein script where we just start pulling shit out.
Yeah, well, you might not have ever noticed this, but if you watch any of my videos, you'll actually see that the start of my first sentence on the second line actually starts as I'm still finishing the last word of the.
Yeah, so
I'm actually stacking them on top of each other, so there is no
dead
gap
time
between it. It's literally, you can see my voices overlap for a split second,
Yeah,
and
it's
then
smart.
it keeps going.
Yeah. I've been told I just speak fast enough that I don't need to do that.
But you actually have to now. That's
Yeah.
the whole thing. It's like on average, we scroll the entire distance of the Eiffel Tower every single day if your phone stacks on top of each
That's
other.
fucked.
Yeah. Our attention span on 2023 was 7.8 seconds or something like that, and a goldfish is like 6 seconds. Like
It's probably half as well by now.
sorry, the goldfish is 8 seconds. So we actually have a lower attention span than a goldfish now. But the whole thing about it is that, like, it used to be like, here's a good hook, and
Now you can say your thing.
now you gotta like rush it out because you're like, I've only got like 1 second to convince
Yeah.
you to watch my video.
Yeah,
So you
I
can-
had like 4 messages yesterday being like, bro, how many Dexys you taken? Because you're speaking real quick. Like 0.
Just like crank the speed up a little bit on the
Yeah.
video. Just
Yeah, one of the boys yesterday was like, you speed this up? I was like, no,
Yeah.
I was just very caffeinated. Like, I think coming in hot and actually knowing exactly what you need to say. Do you script your stuff? Like, obviously, like
Yeah.
for your own
Every
videos as well?
single video.
Yeah, and you're reading line by line?
Yeah.
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 It's so funny, man, when I tell people, like, even if you know your shit, script it. Like, what does an actor do?
Yeah.
They read a script for fucking 6 weeks before
Yeah.
they go in and film.
No, you have to. Like, oh, some people don't. Like we actually have some clients that are good at yapping, but it's the main thing about it is the confidence in you, because if I'm reading a script line by line, I can look dead down the camera.
Yeah.
I can show what I know what I'm talking about. But if I'm darting my eyes out over here because my brain's trying to think, all of a sudden it takes it from I know exactly what I'm talking about to
If
like
there's that inch of doubt,
yeah.
it's so funny because, like, like back in the day when people used to talk about the camera adds 10 pounds or 10 kilos, whatever it was. It's like the camera shows any doubt now.
Yeah.
You got a millisecond of doubt, it's 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Like you've just lost 10 seconds of tension.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because, like, I've brought in a few clients before. We would do like workshops and do content, kind of structured. It's like, cool, first hour you're going to watch me do content live and ask questions as I go. Second hour we're going to sit in a room. We're all going to script out. We'll do it with 5 people at a time. We'll script out videos with each other, like group workshop it. Then we're going to go downstairs and film 1 video each. And we have to be, we're going to be content Nazis on each other, right? So if you say one word and you're slightly off, your tone isn't right. No, let's go again.
Yeah.
No, go again.
Yeah.
And like someone's like, oh, that was good. Like, no, go again. Your tone shifted down too much on a sentence. You need to end on a high.
Yeah.
Like, and we just sit there and rip. And it's like, okay, we'll do that once a month. And it's like, whenever I release these spots, it's like those 5 spots go fucking quick.
Yeah.
Because anyone in the network just like, I want to do that. Because even though we got 1 video filmed in that day, they walk out going, okay, standard.
Yeah.
Up here.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like you can't have doubt.
Yeah, we got one client who he just couldn't do it.
Got
We
plenty
made
of them.
like we made him wear sunnies.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
like,
smart.
legit- yeah, because like he just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, we can't have you looking off and like not looking sure about what you're talking about. He was drinking a freaking Bundy rum at the time too, so we're just like, skull that, put the sunnies on, and let's do it again.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, it's like, yeah, all right, he's wearing sunnies and all the things, but it
Gives a fuck.
looks more confident now.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, if that's aligned, somewhat even remotely aligned to the business, if he can pull off the sunnies,
Yeah, it was a tradie company.
there you go.
Yeah.
Works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think at the end of the day, man, like you got to work with what you got. Do you have any like tips for people trying to film content?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest tips is gathering ideas. Like sitting. So I have like just like a Google Docs, a Google Doc that I have because I never go back and look at my saved videos. I save
It's funny
videos
that
all
is-
the time.
yeah.
I never do it. But what I do is I find ideas as I'm just scrolling. I'll be
Yeah.
like, oh, that's a really good idea. Like the concept that he's talking about, I have my own experience and my own knowledge on that same topic. And then I'll just share the video and then I'll just copy and paste it into a Google Doc.
Yep.
And then, obviously I have Google Docs on my phone. So as I'm like thinking of ideas throughout the day, I'll be like, oh shit, that's a good idea. And I just put it in there. And I would always spend whatever, half a day scripting all my videos. I just punch all that out first and then just sit down, bring a couple of different items of clothing and then film them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's batching it is the best way to go because, you know, if you have the discipline to film and edit and post a piece of content every single day, good on you, but you will burn out because you're like, fuck this.
Yeah.
But you just set aside, you know, a day to do it, even a day every 2 weeks, whatever it is, you'll just, your consistency will stay longer because you know, it's not as heavy on just like your day-to-day life.
Friend of mine, Brandon Wellington, you've probably seen him because he gets every person that I know has been smashed by his ads. He's the guy, he's got black hair, long black hair, and he gets in front of the camera and goes, fine, we'll do your fucking ads. I'll show you how it is. Cool.
Yeah, he's another agency.
Yeah. Brandon told me one of the, like, I guess, most profound piece of advice I've ever been given on the content front, when it comes to batching, he just made it, because I'm a very logical guy, made the logic to the batching of content make sense. Not even just for the consistency element, but even just like if you look at on the increased return on how much better you get when you start filming content, the first 20 minutes suck.
Yeah.
Right. But if, let's say you batch an hour, you've just lost what's that? 20%? 25%?
Yeah.
Right. Of time of shit.
Yeah.
Whereas if you batch for 6 hours, it's not 20. It's a diminishing, an increased return on investment.
Yeah.
Well, your first 20 minutes will still suck, but you still have 4.5 hours.
Yeah. Like our average shoot time for our clients is 6 hours.
Yeah.
And I always say to them, don't worry about the first 5 videos. We'll go back and do them at the end.
Yeah.
Because they fuck it up.
Yep.
And they're all nervous. And then they get used to it. And then they get better at looking at the camera. And then the tonality is actually the biggest thing.
Huge.
Because everyone, especially dudes, man, as soon as we start talking on camera, we get tough.
Yeah.
Like, here's 3 things that you need to know. But that's like not how you talk in your day-to-day life.
100%.
But as you get more comfortable in front of the camera and you do it, and it actually took me like a long time, I don't even know how much, months, 6 months, a year, whatever it was, to actually get me, my personality and how I talk in my day-to-day life, like how I'm talking right now, onto camera.
Yeah.
Because even when I first started, it wasn't me, it was someone else that I was trying to be this person.
You find that your volume always escalates as well?
Yeah, 100%. But like, so every one of our clients, we always go back and film the first couple of videos because it's, you know, they get more comfortable with it.
Yeah. Whenever we do content stuff for like one of my other businesses, the coaching stuff, we'll come in here downstairs, we get the whole team in, we're like, cool, we're doing a content day. And like first 5-10 videos, like it's always like we get about 10 seconds in, like stop, like, why are you yelling? Like the microphone is on your lapel, bro. Yeah. Like, and they're like, their volume's up here.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the way they bring confidence is just by yelling. It's like, just,
yeah, but it's just what do you call it? Just like a repetition thing.
Yeah.
You get better at it as you go along.
Yeah.
And the more times you do it, the more better you get. And like I'm still learning. And I've been doing content since I started on TikTok in 2018.
Fuck.
Yeah.
You were one of the OGs.
Like 100%. I only did it because Gary Vee said he to do it.
Yeah.
He's like, all these kids are on these apps, but you're going to regret not doing it. I was like, all right, too easy. I'll get on.
Crack. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, it was,
paid off.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. What is that like? Do you find that like the effort you've put in that say back in 2018 is now still giving you client exposure now?
So not client exposure, but I had a TikTok that I created, and it became one of the most trending because I used to play in the band. I created this. It was essentially a jingle, and I put it on TikTok.
Yeah.
And it became one of the most viral sounds on TikTok in like 2019 or something like that. I ended up selling it for freaking 20 grand to Applebee's, bro.
That's mad.
Yeah, they bought it off me for the rights to it for 5 years. And
do you get that back in 5 years?
I think so. I don't actually know.
Hopefully.
I don't know. They just waved money at me, and I was like 2019. I was like broke ads. I was like,
please.
Yes, of course. But pretty much that is from 2019, and every time I log onto my TikTok, it's still getting likes.
Yeah, okay.
So it's like you can produce content that you put out a year ago, and it might get you a client today.
Mm-hmm. Because I still get people saying, "Oh, I went back and listened to your first podcast." I was like, "I wish you didn't." And I'm talking business. It's a topic I'm confident in.
Yeah.
I'm talking about my business as well, but I still look back and go,
But again, that's a repetition thing. It's like, you know, your first podcast is probably going to be shaky as because you're like, oh shit, there's a camera. You know, like,
and as soon as the camera goes, I'm like, fuck. I used to have people come in like, oh, what are we talking about? I'm like, I don't know. And you just see the blood drain from their face, like, oh fuck.
Yeah, well, that's what you just did to me before.
Yeah, I know, but you're sweet, you're fine. But like at the front end, man, like when I first started doing this, because as I said, I think I said this off camera, I'm like very ADHD. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'd bring people in like, oh, what are we talking about? I got no idea. No idea. What's going on? What's your name? Oh, cool. Let's dive. And I just start motor mouthing.
Yeah.
And people are like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You can see it too. Like you can see it in those initial interviews.
Yeah.
The lack of preparedness was obvious.
But communication is like a skill that you're a businessman, and the number one skill in business is communication.
Yeah.
Like if you want to be a good salesman, you need to learn to talk to people, essentially.
Yeah, go do an NLP course.
Yeah. So it's but this, it just translates to this, you know, and the more you get, like, you know, Wes Watson, that dude can yap like no other yapper.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't think I've ever heard him say
No.
know?
Man, he is a freak.
Yeah, the same like him, Andrew Tate, all of these people who are like massive online. They're all incredible business owners. They don't ever say or
They're so articulate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they know their market, so they know exactly what words to say and when and what tonality to shift up or down. It's really impressive.
Yeah.
Well, that's just years in the game, though.
Yeah, 100%. So it just translates to, it comes back to your videos as well. You'll get more confident with it the more you get confident in just communication.
I'm going to give you a close out on this question. What's something, let's say you've got a new client coming in, what's something you wish they knew about content before they started so it would make your life easier?
Like, I want to say that content's probably not going to make you money. Like your content is your brand, and brand is a long-term game. Like branding is why you should spend money with me, not how you can spend money with me. So it's a game that needs to be played over a long time. But we have a lot of people who come to us and they're like, oh, we want to get 5 clients a week from this content. And I'm like, well, then run ads. Like it's not what we're here for. Like they're two different things.
Yeah.
This is going to build a relationship with your customers over a long period of time. And that there is that I think a lot of businesses are seeing the success of some other businesses online and they're going, holy shit, you know, they're making so much money with this content stuff. And then we come to them like, yeah, it's, you know, it's bringing $3,500-$5,000 a month. And they're like, holy shit, that's a lot of money. And I'm like, yeah, and it's not going, like it sometimes does, but it's not most likely not going to get the return that you want straight away. Oh,
not even within the first year in most cases, I'd assume.
Yeah, but like I think if we are going to leave on something, I think the best thing for you to look at on your page is not how many followers you have, but how many posts you have. That's the number that you want to increase.
Love that. Volume over everything.
100%.
Predicates luck.
Yeah. The more you put out there, the more chances you have of someone seeing you.
Fully agree. Where can people find you, Run It Up as a whole, and how do they get in contact?
So the Run It Up is runitupmedia.agcy, and then me is switch.stevens.
Excellent. Is there anything that you want to close out on?
Keep making content. Just put it out there and have fun with it. The moment that you're like, I hate this, hire me.
Fuck yeah. Hire him. He's fucking excellent. Thanks for listening. We'll see you soon. Like, subscribe, do the stuff. Thank you for listening.
Grind till you shine, no time to recline. So never stops, clocks ticking on this fine line. Cash streams, they manifest it, they earn it collective. Minds and mentors talk big, but reality